But after that, I think we get in the canyon and the water get narrow and get more strong, and some rapids is more deep, more powerful, and the four boats together, the boat is not safe bathing. So we have the kayaker and we have used a video, and the Paul said, "You guys should be stay on right," and something like that. But we tried that, but we cannot move the boat.
Of more, this one we're at right here, we met our 3 Chinese CCTV guys. Friends are gonna come with us about 7K down the river.
Was in this big kind of curling, crashing wave train, and Paul, I think, was a little behind me, and he caught the second hole, the edge of it, and that flipped him over pretty quickly. And then he was in that same wave train, and then he swam probably a good 4 or 5 minutes. He grabbed onto the back of my boat, just waited for his paddle to come by, and luckily it came by and I grabbed it.
At Class 5, there was one tough cut move. In the rapid where I swam, I hit more of a pour-over hole and it knocked me over, and I tried 4 attempts to get up and was not able to do it. And I'm committed to 7 attempts today. We're going to get up on the first or second, so I can't swim anymore. That's just not going to happen. It wasn't fun. So I was really concerned about tipping over on this trip because I knew that my roll wasn't very strong anymore. And in fact, I did have a swim.
Swim to the center, Paul! Paul, swim center! Swim towards me!
If I had swum in 1986, I don't know what would have happened. There was nobody there to help me out. This year, there was another kayaker going down the river with me, and I'm really thankful he was there because when I swam,
keep your head up!
I was surprised how difficult it was to get a breath while I was swimming. It wasn't a fun swim.
Grab onto my back. Grab on the stern. The paddle's behind you. I saw it. We'll get the kayak here. We'll head out left.
Fortunately, he was able to help me get me over to shore.
All right.
I sat there and breathed hard for 5 whole minutes. We were still at about 10,000 feet in altitude. I decided after that I had to not swim again. So there was a lot of motivated bracing for the rest of the trip. After being the only kayaker on the 1986 trip, it was really nice to have another kayaker to paddle the big rapids with. The harder looking drops Sam and I scouted together, but often it would start out with Sam scouting alone. You could see how steep and unstable looking the riverbank behind me looks. This was the result of the riverbank being scoured by the big flood that had come down after the landslide up above had breached, and I was happy to let Sam go and scout under these conditions, and then he would come back and tell me what he thought the desired line was. What's that?
Center and then work right.
Okay, give me a second here. Rivers are prime examples of nature's energy and power. And to be able to climb in a kayak and go out there and dance, if you will, with that power is really very exciting. There's nothing else like it. One of the ways the river was different on this trip this year was that the water was higher. When you get higher water, it gets pushier. You get a lot of crazy eddy lines. You get some whirlpools. You get waves that rise out of nowhere and break and then disappear.
We have to carry a long ways, are we okay? Okay.
Well, that was just plain fun.
By a stroke of luck, a crew of videographers from CCTV, the state-controlled China Central Television, heard tale of our descent and offered to help us portage the Yebitan Dam site, providing trucks and transportation in exchange for a trip down the last 15 kilometers before the dam. Once completed, this dam will flood much of the incredible whitewater shown up until this point.
When we got to the first dam site, it was almost otherworldly. We came out of this more or less wilderness area of the river, and suddenly there was this huge construction going on. They were building bridge abutments to go across the river. They'd put in a diversion dam that went across the river, and there were these two huge diversion tunnels where they were taking the river and going around where they were going to build the dam. We knew that we had to avoid going in those diversion tunnels. Fortunately, we were able to get an eddy on the right side of the river, but then we had to portage all of the gear up out of the river. The slope was steep, there were huge rocks. It was really unpleasant, probably the most difficult part of the trip for me. We were able to get a truck to move our gear around the dam, which was really nice. But our options for getting back into the river were really limited. We had to put back in right above a Class 5 rapid.
It's 11:34 now.
Probably got here at 11.
It was really kind of wild. There were these huge trucks that were moving dirt and rocks right next to where we were putting in. And the wind was blowing, and upriver you could see them pushing large rocks down at the dam site into the water, and there was all of this dust in the air. It was a little scary, actually. We don't really know what we're capable of until we get challenged. And the Yangtze River was a great challenge.